mega excited, guys, and it's because, and some of you may have watched these on YouTube, but I have a pallet, four pallets of Amazon returns coming and arriving on Thursday. So I'm well excited about this. Now, I have a business plan, and I have the plan for the businesses throughout the year, but I also have some personal aims and personal accomplishments, or things that I want to try, you know, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, whatever you want to call me, as somebody that just likes to try different things. And this is one of them. This is one of this that I've been looking into and sort of wandering about for a long time. In December, I managed to find a site where you can bid for these pallets, and they're fully listed. It's not as if they're, well, this site isn't anyway, it's not as if they're completely unknown contents and this, that and the other. This site actually lists roughly what they are. So it's a pallet, or 4 pallets, or a truckload, which I think is about 18 pallets, of sporting goods, clothing, merchandise, household, electronics, furniture, anything that's been returned. And the funky thing about this is that, and something that I've been doing a bit of research into, and Christmas is quite poignant of actually, is what happens to returns. Now, because Amazon is such an enormous companies, and when you send something back to Amazon, for whatever reason it is, they don't waste any time looking into why you've returned it, or even if it's ever been opened, they launch it into a returns pallet, or a warehouse or whatever, and that is sorted into pallets and just flogged off to the highest bidder. And that must be a way more economical way of dealing with returns than trying to have a whole team of people establish if it's user error or broken by a courier or in transit or faulty and returning it back to them. It must be such a ball ache and a costly exercise. They just launch it in a pallet. Now, I'm not sure. So anyway, what happens is, when you get an Amazon package, and this probably happens on other sites as well, send it back. Now, these can be returns for loads of different reasons. Now, it could be faulty, genuinely. You send it back, you get another one, or you get a refund. It could arrive to you damaged, so it's damaged in the warehouse or in transit by the courier, or you've damaged it. I mean, they're actually saying consumer damage. Or there's, I mean, a lot of them get returned because they're just unwanted. You get it and you don't want it. And that's the thing, if you return something just simply because you don't want it, it still goes in a return pallet. You've got it and you can't work it, so it's marked as faulty, but it's not, it's user error, but it just gets bunged in there and says faulty anyway. So there are ways you can win with these pallets apparently, but again, there are ways you can lose because some things can be genuine faulty. So I've got, so you know, you go on this site and you register and you've got your VAT number and you live into company, so you have to be above board and everything. Not just anybody can do it, and you have a huge itinerary of what's in that. So it'll be a category of, I mean, our category is household and floor care, and you have 111 items. It tells you the retail value of what it would have been all new and all sold, and you bid away, and the highest bidder gets it. The transit cost was quite steep. I mean, I'll run over some costs. If you actually if you like my page and subscribe, and actually, or if you like my and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I get enough comments on here, I'll put the costs down, the prices, so you can see what I've paid for it, what the value of the pallet is, and hopefully at some point in the near future, when I manage to sort it all out, sift it through it and resell it, what I've made from it. So yeah, like and subscribe to follow these updates. So I'm super excited. It gave 111 items, floor care and household, which is everything from high-end coffee machines. I mean, some of these coffee machines that have been returned. But anyway, there's a whole list of coffee machines, steamers, irons. There's about 50 robotic floor cleaners or hoovers. You know, those little circular robot things that hoover your floor. There's about 50 of those, a mixture of faulty or courier damaged, and all sorts of sort of lower end random things. So a lot of these items like £200, £300, £400 retail, and yeah, so I'm quite excited. So obviously I had to look through and saw what's damaged, i.e. what could have a scratch. You never know until it arrives. It could be completely scythed in half. It could just have a scratch or a little dent that you can just shove out for a 50 quid discount. Someone's still getting an amazing deal. So anyway, but the shipping was mega steep, should I say. But it's good because it tells you. So it tells you what the auction's at, it tells you how much it's going to ship to. And this comes from Amazon Europe. So some of the pallets are in the UK, some of them are in Poland, Germany, Spain, depending on how far away it is as to how much it costs. But you factor that cost in until you know what you think it's worth to you. You bid, you win, you lose, whatever it is. But Thursday's the date. So it's only about, it was only just before New Year's Eve that I actually won the pallet, 4 pallets. And I got a shipping notification on the 2nd of January, and it's arriving on the 9th. So pretty stoked about that. Yeah, so follow for updates because I'm well excited. So together with my daily duties of everything from, well, I manage to do everything from the videos and the marketing and running a business. So from my daily duties of running a business, there's going to be an interesting sideline and see if we can make this work financially, because this stuff's constant. There's pallets going all the time. You imagine how many millions of items Amazon sell. You imagine the percentage that gets returned. Then, you know, there's always something out there, and it's quite interesting. It'll be a nice little experiment. Hopefully we don't lose money on it, but you don't know until you try, and they always say you've got to spend it till you make it. A few more cliches like that. So super excited. Follow my journey for these Amazon return pallets, and if you're interested in what's already been done, go on YouTube and just put Amazon return pallets, and you'll see so many people have been doing this for so much longer than well, certainly longer than me, but for quite a long time. It's a thing. So let's see if we can turn it around and make it profitable. Now, I mentioned in my video that it was actually Christmas was quite poignant for the whole return story, but as in true Neil style, I kind of went off on a tangent and forgot to go back to it. And that is, while I was doing some Christmas shopping, I noticed that when I was buying things like clothes from places like New Look and H&M for my other half and the kids, I noticed that they had a returns policy that meant that you weren't allowed to return any items on Boxing Day. And some shops, I can't remember what shop it was, JD Sports possibly, they weren't allowing returns until the 29th of December. So of course you open your presents on Christmas Day and they don't fit or they're not quite the right style. The first thing you want to do is, as soon as you can, go and get some ones that do or that you do like. So to not be able to do that is a bit annoying, and I found it actually quite puzzling. Now, with the whole returns thing in my head going around, one thing that I did actually realise after a bit of research is, because what happens is when you take that back to the shop, or take the item back to the shop that you've had, normally the half the tag's cut off, or it's been interfered with, or the price has been peeled off, or it's just not in sellable condition. The garment might be perfect, but because you've peeled the sticker off, they can't just stick it out on the shelf. In fact, to be perfectly honest, and if you've got an insight into this, then drop a comment and let me know. But I think what does actually happen is the fact that it simply just goes into a returns box, and either when they're quiet enough, they go through it, or it just boots off to the head office and it goes off in pallets again to returns or one of those outlet stores. So as a second, you know, because it's already been taken out of the shop. So what they're thinking is if you do that all on the next day after Christmas, when their sales are going on, you put your garment, you give your garment back to them, or your shoes or whatever, you take a new one off the shelf in exchange and walk out the store. That is a garment or a pair of shoes or whatever that they cannot sell during their peak sales season. So essentially all it is this no returns, because they put on their no returns because we don't want to compromise retailers' kind of delays in the shop or checkouts. Where that may be slightly true, I do believe, and I'm pretty sure this is the case, it means that you take the stock out of the shop for free, whereas they don't want that. They want to sell as much as they can. So when you come to finally do your return, you get what there is on the shelf left, or they get more stock in and you have to wait. So essentially on their peak sales time after Christmas on Boxing Day, where they want to clear the shelves and everything and make as much money as possible, they're stopping you from doing returns because all you're going to do is clear the shelf for free. Ethical? Not so sure. Legal? Probably. But yeah, the ethics of that I don't quite believe in. If you bought a garment and want to return it, there's no reason, in my opinion, why you can't do that the next day or even up to the 29th. I think that's really extreme. So yeah, interesting. Back to the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll hopefully do an unboxing video, so when they arrive on Thursday, hopefully I'll do some recording and you guys can see what it all entails.